guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to the Precious Moms Network. Generally, women are known to be nurturers. They're known to be there to care, to assist, to help. It's inborn, it's in our nature. It's not about whether the person is a mom or not. You see young girls who are they just love to care for people, right? But what happens when a pregnant wife needs the support of her husband, or a first-time mom needs the husband to play his role as both the dad and a caring, loving husband? What can be done? That's what we're going to be focusing on today's video. And as you know, I'm a wife, I'm not a husband. So today we're going to be having my awesome, amazing husband on the channel. Sorry, forgive me if I'm blushing in this video. But we did a lot of work to get him here. So, without wasting time, let's do it! Welcome to the Precious Moms Network. This is my darling husband, and I'm going to allow him to quickly introduce himself. So please, Mr. Lakey, is that what your children call you? Please introduce
so
yourself.
you're now my child.
I'm your firstborn.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, all right. Thank you very much for having me on the show, Mrs. Lekiamo.
Thank you.
Maggie, what are the formalities? Well, my name is Lekiamo, and I'm husband to this lovely wife and father to a lovely, beautiful girl.
See, he said, lovely wife. I'm not going to be jealous. Okay, so let's be serious.
All right.
You're making me laugh. Please, let's be serious. Is serious something that we're yet to talk about?
I bring out the best in you, whether it's on the show or in life.
How can husbands help their pregnant wives? Like, what are the practical ways that you think that husbands can help their pregnant wives? Because you were really helpful to me when I was pregnant. Don't please. Just tell us how husbands can help their pregnant wives.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the compliment. You say it in private and now you're saying it in public.
You know?
Okay, well, first of all, it's important to understand that there is no business as important as family business. Eventually, everything that we do as husbands, it's really to support our family, to support our wives, since we're talking about different husbands now. I was very careful not to say wives, so that it doesn't sound like one man is marrying many wives. Okay, so it's important to support the family, your child, especially for a first-time dad. And for me, I guess what was really at the back of my mind was this will last forever. This is the first time my wife is giving birth to a baby. The first time being pregnant. It's my first time being a dad. I want it to count. So nothing mattered. It was important to note that everything can die, because if anything goes wrong with my wife and the baby, they will never come back. But I will always get another work. I will always get another job. All those things can be renewed, but lives cannot be renewed. So once that was taken care of, everything else didn't matter, including sleep. So I could always get another sleep. But if my wife, something goes wrong in the middle of the night because she's not able to sleep and things like that, or something happens to the baby in her belly, then that's terminal. So it was necessary. It was just, I think, the perspective of sacrifice just helped to do everything that she wants. So from rubbing her back in the middle of the night to cooking,
yes, it was the cooking,
providing certain cravings. Although God bless her, she didn't give me too much trouble with all these cravings.
Troublesome. Yes, okay.
All these things that I've heard, some women requesting for mangoes in the middle of the night
at 3 a.m.
things like that. I didn't experience that. So, but at least the things I could grab on my way to work or my way from work and things like that, I was able to do for her. Things that just required ordering, calling someone to get for us and things like that. So, but all those things, now they are things she's thanking me for, and that matters. So really, for me, I was just projecting into the future, like a year from now, what will I want the memory to be? So everything else should not matter.
Wisdom. Oragba.
Don't leave me.
Okay, so you've talked about things that you did, which I was going to say, sacrifice, practical things. So you mentioned that. But what else was your perspective? Because we both know that the pregnancy wasn't an easy one. What else helped you get through it? Because there were times that we had to go to the hospital, rush to the hospital, back and forth, go for scan. How many scans did we do?
1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have to ask them to give us.
I think we did almost a dozen, if not more.
Possibly.
Yeah, and the 7 months that I was pregnant. So yeah, tell us, how did you handle that?
Okay. Honestly, I think a life without God is a life in chaos.
Yeah,
And for me, I went through a lot growing up. So going through a lot, being married now or grown up didn't mean anything. And I guess what has helped me, which my wife still wonders how I do it, is selective amnesia. I just feel it's not intentional. That's just how I'm wired. If so, now she's talking about a lot of these things that went wrong. You're helping me juggle memories. As far as I was concerned, there's a situation in front of me. I am an implementer. Let's get it done. Let's get it fixed. So
Mr. Fixie.
whatever happens thereafter should be great. At least the mindset would be, I did my best. So I guess a lot of adrenaline also pumped in, because I mean, when your wife when she's in pain through the night, and your mind will be thinking of all sorts of things. Okay, let me rub her back, let me do this, let's get that. And then there's a limit to how the drugs, medications you can use and things like that. So you just have to do what you need to do for that moment.
Sure.
Okay? And of course, fears will set in. I mean, I can't imagine how many times I would be careful, look down, like, okay, I hope blood is not coming out.
Yeah.
Like, she says she was going to the restroom, and I'm like, okay, please, did you check what came out? And things like that. And, then I still have to get up, go to work. In fact, the work was torture, because several times I'll be putting calls through. I think what I just told myself was, you know what, God, dear God, you have her. She is first your daughter, and the baby in her womb is also yours before she's mine. And you could not have given her to me and then let her go or take her away just like that, especially take her away with the baby. So, Holy Spirit, I give her over to you, take care of her, especially the days when she's alone at home and there's nobody around.
Many days like that.
It's a huge torture, but putting my faith in God just helped. But when circumstances arose, like they need to go for scans, or they need to hurry to the hospital, or the moments where we had vigils because there was quite a lot going on in her stomach and all that, I guess it was just, I did a lot of these things, speaking in tongues under my breath, praying under my breath and things like that, knowing full well that, we just have to do what we need to do. Eventually, God will take these things, take care of all of these things. So that's all I have to say.
Strong man.
It's good.
I have just one last question on that. How did you handle the moment when you saw that I was spotting? I spotted for like 2 weeks. How did you handle that? What was going through your mind? Did you think that maybe part of the baby is coming out?
I actually thought of that.
You did.
Could it be her head is dissolving or something? I thought of all sorts. Okay, so how did I handle that? I think there's something I have always known about life, that what you don't know, sometimes it's a blessing.
Yes, ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is. So I've never seen a woman spot before. Honestly, if I had a previous memory, perhaps if it had happened to my sister or someone, I would probably have feared more.
True.
But she was spotting, okay, in my mind, what does it mean? And then my wife did a lot of study on Google. So I have learned not to trust Google because people put their own opinions out there, their own various experiences, and one person's experience is different from another person's experience, and so fears can be heightened by going on Google. So what I simply did was to trust her. So I'll ask her, what does it mean? Okay, and then I ask her mom, maybe because her mom has also walked this path before, and then she also asked her friends, especially her friends, female friends who are medical practitioners as well. And so I don't ask them. At the time, I didn't even have their numbers, so I just get the information from her. And so, but a few times when she's, or maybe especially in the middle of the night when none of these people can be consulted, she asks me, like, okay, baby, I saw this or I saw that. Oh, something is green. I'm seeing something green.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm seeing something green in this when I use the restroom, and I'm like, and then she's asking me, what do you think it means? Do you know what? Honestly, my wife sometimes pressured me. Baby, you're not even reading articles. Go online, read this one, read that one. I saw this one. Sometimes she'll even send me a link. I saw this, read it, and I just program my mind not to, really. Because what you don't know sometimes it's just your fortune. You know,
ignorance is bliss.
Really. So when she's asking me, I go or I sound. Sometimes I'm high sounding. Really, what I'm doing is I'm praying under my breath. Like, okay, Holy Spirit, what do I say? And then I go, oh, baby, I'm sure it's nothing. It's probably this or that. You know, when fibroid cells are generating, or maybe baby has kicked something and all that, you know, it can come out as droplets here and there. And I go, I'm quite high sounding, so much that she believes me. She believes it. And then we go to the hospital and we discuss it with the doctor. Okay, we saw many times I'm the one who remembers to ask the doctor because
I've taken what he said now.
She has taken it.
Yeah,
so
right.
I go, oh, doctor, we saw this. I said, yeah, sure, we saw this. And doctor probably said, oh, it's probably this, it's probably that. And it's accurate, just what I said. And I'm like, you know what, Holy Spirit, thank you very much for that inspiration, man. Because really, she needs to rely on me emotionally, and I don't want to. I can panic, man. I can panic.
You can't panic. I've seen it once or twice. I think it's twice. Yeah.
Once or twice on my try.
And it was not funny. I was like, baby, calm down. Calm down. It's not that deep. Calm down now. Okay, calm down. Just try. Okay, just calm down. Just breathe.
So the last thing you want, or the last thing she wants, is to have a
panicky husband. Oh my God!
In her distress. So
sure.
It was just important to speak positive, and really, what we speak matters.
Yes, it does.
Because in her own mind, the worst has happened. I mean, she's the one who's feeling everything. As much as I want to feel it, I can't feel it. So I'm only getting her reaction and interpreting her reaction, and honestly, I don't want to interpret it as something that will make me panic or will make her more afraid. So I just counter it with something positive, like, you know, baby, it's probably this, it's probably that, and then she comes, and you know, we're able to, you know, sleep, or, you know, at least maybe lie down to some extent, because really lying down too was also a big deal for her. Yeah. But really, it was just important to stay positive, stay away from certain kind of information, and speak what you want to happen.
Very good. Thank you so much for those tips, those bing here and there. So my next question for you is, what was going through your mind when the doctor came and announced that we were going in for emergency CS? What was going through your mind, and how did you feel when you were able to enter, before they started, you were able to enter with me? How did you feel? What was that like for you?
Okay, first of all, I knew there was going to be CS anyway, and it was definitely going to be emergency, especially because for 2 nights straight we had not slept. So honestly, if they had tried to push any further, because their objective really was to push for as long as possible,
34 weeks.
to 34 weeks. So if they had tried pushing any further, I would probably have called them up. Like, you know what? She's in pain. It doesn't make sense. So when they came in the morning, very early, and announced, you know what, there's going to be CS and all that, I was relieved. I was like, okay, finally, we're going to take this baby. And they had assured us that, you know, the baby was going to be fine.
Oh yes, they had, and it wasn't just because of an assurance. They had given me dextrose. You remember that we pushed for dextrose so that the baby's lungs.
Trust me, I didn't know that. As long as
my husband doesn't know medical jargon. He doesn't even concern himself. Do you know what they did? Okay.
Exactly. So, and of course, because they had also given testimonies of taking babies out who were 0.9 kgs and the likes, and the babies lived and all. So, I just thought, you know what, take this baby out. Just take the baby out and let her be fine. So yeah, I got into the theater. I thought I was going to be allowed to stay in the theater, but when I saw the lights and the apparatus and all these knives,
knives! I didn't even look at the knives. It was the lights that scared me. The lights.
I just said, you know what? It's a first-time experience. I don't think it'll be good like that. So I wasn't surprised when the doctor said I should stay out, but I thought they would let me stay out of the first door where I could be looking through the glass, but they said I have to stay out further, the second door where everything is all shut, there's no glass, nothing, you can see through easily. But I stepped out, and then I paced back and forth for a while, and there was nobody around. It was just you and me. So I put a few calls through, called our parents, and then called our spiritual parents, my pastor and his wife. Just asked them to pray along and all that. A few minutes later, mommy arrived, and daddy too. So, of course, daddy's a medical doctor as well, so he was asking me a few questions, some of which I had no answers to. And of course, everybody was all hands were on deck. So there was no medical person to ask other than a few nurses who were taking care of some other people. So daddy, of course, had quite a lot of questions. But eventually, when somebody stepped out of the theater, daddy was able to engage the person. I, on the other hand, also wanted to make sure to get some information from someone, but I was careful whom to ask. I had made up my mind there was going to be the doctor whom we'd always been seeing all the time, about, not even the gynecologist, because that person can be very brash.
Essentially, nature.
I mean, I guess they've done quite a lot of surgery, so some of these things don't matter. He was even laughing in the theater. He was even yabbing me. So like, okay, if I were theater, I'm gonna try you. Hey, boss, it's So I knew if I asked him, the way you say it, I'll probably not receive it well. So I just needed to ask the doctor we'd always been saying all along, But he never stepped out. I guess it mattered to him that he saw you from the beginning through the whole process.
Yeah.
So there was no one to ask. It was just God. So I sat the few moments I could sit. Prayed and all that. Then mommy asked us to pray. Her prayer was so brief. Like, my mind, the burdens in my mind needed to be poured out.
Burdens in your mind.
So, I just found one solitary place. I decided not to look up because the temptation would be once that door opens, there's always what's up. So I just stayed down. If anybody needed to get my attention, they'll call me. And of course, I would expect that I would be the one that would speak with first before they even speak to our parents. So I just stayed down, prayed and all that. And then eventually when the door opened, it was the pediatrician who came out. Not the person I expected to see. At the time, I didn't even know he was the pediatrician, honestly. Because all these people were new to us. So he came out and then said, Mr. Mo or Mr. Lekia, so please come and see the baby. The baby? Okay, it's not my life. He said, come and see. Okay. So when they saw the baby in a tray of something of some sort. Not the sight I pictured. The pictures you see in movies. They just come out all wrapped and all that. Yes, I'm seeing the baby and she's looking green. Maybe it's the light effect. Probably the light effect. I think the light there was bluish.
But they hadn't cleaned out.
They hadn't cleaned out. So I was like, green cake. Is it not supposed to be blood or something? Like, okay, and then it wasn't at first. At first, I was like, okay, did he take out the fibroid or the baby or something? Like, okay, because I mean, the picture we had of the fibroid cells was a bit big, so this was something big in some train-like stuff. But until I came close and I saw that, you know, she was moving and she had eyes and legs and hands and had mouth, and then she, you know, the eyes were closed sort of, and then she would manage. Actually, I guess she noticed my presence. She looked up and smiled, and you know, winked a bit. Okay, that's the baby, very small.
It was 1.45 kg. What did you expect?
Well, you know, okay, thank God for that. Okay, so that's progress. So the pediatrician said he was going to clean her up and all that, and then, you know, just told me to wait outside. Okay, so she saw my hesitance, like, okay, don't worry, your wife will be out soon. Okay, good. At least that's good news. So waited outside, and then a few minutes later, you were wheeled out. You were wheeled out, and you came out swollen, as in so big. It was a hard sight. What happened in there? That was what was going on in my thoughts. Yeah. And then what else? You know, of course, who's that person? The person behind anesthetics. Anesthetic. Yeah, just told me, you know what, she's fine. She'll be fine. There's no problem. And then a few minutes later, you were shaking, you were vibrating. Like I needed answers. Like what's going on? Don't worry, she's fine. It's just, what was it called? It was called
Rigor.
It was called a term. Okay, no problem. You guys understand. You know, there was no preparation, so it was hard to really just bear all these things. They were happening newly, and I'd never experienced it before. Fortunately, around that period, Pastor and his wife came. Quickly, I told her this is what happened, and Pastor's wife, who had also been through a similar process, said, "See, this will happen. She'll have rigor. She'll have this. She'll have that. So just prepare your mind, you know, and let her know that a whole lot of these things will happen." Fortunately, some didn't happen.
Yes, true.
But you know, thank God for all that. And you know, it was they were a sort of pillar as well. I mean, since she had prepared my mind for the worst, I was just like, you know what. And then when you started having some fears and you had this look on your face, like you had this face, like, am I going to die? Or something like that. I had to let you know
what's going on.
Baby, relax. You know, this will happen, that will happen, and all that. And so when they came and then they took out the blood from under you.
Yes,
from that there was a sheet and they took out the blood. Honestly, I almost passed out. It was hard. For mommy, it was not a big deal. Mommy was there. She saw it. It was not a big deal. But for me, I sat down. I had to sit down. It was. I mean, it was so much. I thought that after that there would be need for a transfusion. It was so much. So much blood, but thank God everything went out well. I guess really it was just important to stay in the place of prayer. I was praying through all this. I didn't even eat. I didn't even eat until evening. So a lot of adrenaline was
pumping. Would you have had appetite? If they gave you food, will you eat?
Because they gave me food. They offered me food.
Oh, they did?
They offered me food. Like mommy, daddy, and you know, those who came, like, have you eaten and all that? Should we get you something? No, don't bother that. But thank God for all things. All things went well.
Thank you so much, darling. I pray that God helps you.
Sorry, I thought you were going to put a peck.
Excuse me, please focus. Are we doing pecking competition? I pray that God continues to make you an awesome support. You have been a strength. You continue to be. You still are. You continue to be. Anybody to And I pray for you that God will bring you through whatever hard time you're going through right now. And if you are having a difficult pregnancy or you're a new mom, having a preemie baby, God will strengthen you through the journey. Sorry, that's what it's trying to call it. You know that we can't exhaust your wisdom, your depth in one video. So we're going to have to bring you back to answer a few more questions. Please, if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section down below, and you know, let him know your thoughts, hype him so that he can come back easily. I don't have to do things to bring him back.
No, you said you did quite a lot of things.
Yes.
A lot of things.
Yes, a lot of things.
That's in your introduction.
Yes.
It's simple, just do a lot of things again.
Focus. I don't know what you're talking about. Focus. Thank you so much, guys. Until we come your way in the next video, it's bye. Please subscribe if you've not subscribed. Train the family. You don't want to miss. I mean, husband is here. Maybe next week you will see baby. Well, that's going to be very cool. But some to shoot, but
should be everywhere.
Who knows? It can happen. Maybe. Yeah, it can. Yeah, let's just toes crossed. Toes crossed. All right, guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. It's here I'm doing. You can do your own here, but bye. Uncle Leke, you did so cool.
Can we?